for the whole point of this video is we're going to do a Stark set at the same horsepower as my 250F, and then, hey? Go on, put them on then. Let's have them. That's better. So yeah, we're going to do the Stark at whatever horsepower my 250F is, or roughly. Probably going to -5 horsepower for the gear change scenario, I reckon. So let's, for example, say I would imagine the 250 maybe 45, 46 horsepower. That might be a bit ambitious actually. No, I reckon it will be. We'll do the Stark 2 or 3 lower just because of the gear change. And we're going to do 20 minutes on the clock, so lap times every lap. See how much I fade, how much the bike fades. I expect the electric bike to fade a little bit and slow down. See how much battery we've got left, and see what the 250F does in that time, which I should imagine it will use about 2 litres of fuel and be perfect. So yeah, it'll be interesting.
I've only had them for about 5 years. I've been sat in the cupboard. The nose is too big, but it's alright in this thing. Little bits, like when you land, every roller, look at the lip on every one. You can't see it, but that is so hard. And I know exactly what this is doing. Stop. So you want it down a bit more now.
Don't reveal it yet. We'll talk about it at the end.
That's the difference.
You need to screenshot your times, Barry. You got them all.
That's the difference between warming up and not, though. Straight into a 20 after having a fucking a chicken katsu lunch or whatever the hell it was, and the old meal deal.
Did Mark get that for you?
The meal deal?
No.
I'm actually organised at the minute. Right, this is going to be hard. Because 20 minutes around here on this is pretty tough. But I know exactly what it's doing. And you can't really see, maybe you can see or not, there's loads of little edges and difficult bits on this track right now. And like little finesse things where you land on a bump and blip it and all the rest of it. So I'm quite nervous now to jump on the electric bike that I rode once. And I've got to do one lap warm up and straight in. I'm actually shitting myself a bit.
Yeah.
But we'll see. It should be fun. I think we're going to learn a lot, one way or the other. But yeah, so I think the only thing against what we've just done is, like I said, I did one lap warm up. I rode here yesterday, so it's not the end of the world, but I've been sat on my arse in the office all morning, so straight into a 20 round here of all places is quite hard, but we'll see. We'll get on the electric bike now and go.
So we think roughly my 250F at the minute is mid 40s, early 40s. So we're going a couple less on the Stark because you've got no gear change. I think that's a fair test. I've just done 20 minutes on the 250. First few laps were a bit rough because I hadn't done a warm-up. I went straight in, although I did ride here briefly yesterday as well. So yeah, did that. The lap times were pretty good. 54s average, did a couple of 53s, one high 52 at the end and a couple of 55s. So I'm really nervous now about jumping on the electric bike because the track's quite rough, but should be good, be interesting. I'm intrigued to see what the results are, so we'll see.
Hey? Fucking hell. Holy shit.
So help me up.
It's just so different. Right. Starting with 87%. Done one lap. Obviously bars are different, bikes different, everything's different, so it's going to take me a minute. So we'll start there, yeah? So weird not having a clutch. So weird not having a clutch.
So weird to watch.
So boring.
That is like, I'm watching a bike out there and hit the bird seats.
It's so boring. 14%.
14?
Yeah. And half, like literally got half power. I couldn't do any jump the last two laps pretty much. That was flat out the last lap and What was the last lap time?
You're on what, 87% when you started?
Well, 95 when I
Well,
first
yeah,
came out.
it was 96 in the shed.
What was the last lap time?
Last lap time, 2:03.
Nah, it couldn't have been that last one because we didn't do any jumps. Did you not time that last one?
Oh, yeah, no, I didn't. No, sorry, no, I didn't do the last one.
That must have been about a 2:15, I reckon. So yeah, 19 minutes we managed. The last 2 laps are probably, the last 3 laps I reckon I had 60% of the 40 horsepower set, so I couldn't do this jump and the couple out the back, which I guess we kind of expected. But even to start with, like, it's got no bottom end. I don't know whether it's because you've not got a clutch, so you can't like help it, but it's just so sluggish out of turns. There might be a way of setting that, I don't know, the power delivery, but what's weird for me is that you come out like a turn like this, you've got like a steady berm and then a rise, and as your back wheel comes off the ground, it like picks up. So like you go from having almost no power to a little rise and the back wheel catches up, and then you land and you're like that. And it's so hard to read, and even between the rollers, as your back wheel comes off the ground, the back wheel speeds up and then it gets loads of drive. So it's weird, but it's quite boring, to be honest with you. It's actually quite boring. Real sort of, I don't know, there's not enough going on. But I mean, considering it's electric, and what was my best lap time was a 2 minute, and my best lap time on 250 was a 52.9, I think. So quite a big difference, bigger than I thought actually. The first few laps I was like, I reckon I'm actually carrying more speed than I thought, but I wasn't. Do you know what, it's really good over jumps. It's like, you know, everywhere where the back wheel comes off the ground and all of that, but proper motocross where you're in a berm, like coming out of here in a deep berm and then up sand, up hills, it really struggles. It doesn't pick up. And it literally, I was watching the percentage go down. It went to 30% so quick, but the power dropped. So I reckon I did 3 laps and already the power was dropping straight away. And that's only on 40%. So imagine if it was on 40 horsepower, so if it was on 60. So yeah, I think these are good for like punters going around a local track, and they're a good bit of fun, but they've still got so far to go before they're competing in motocross. I really think they've got a long way to go. I mean, the fade already is, the fade's dramatic, you know, in power. And look, I did set 19 minutes and I got 15% and no power left. Literally, I couldn't do a jump on the track right now. So, yeah, they've got a bit of work to do, but I mean, still pretty impressive.
Well, that was an interesting test, Mark. Right, so we've finished up on the Stark just then. I wanted to do a GoPro lap at the end, but unfortunately I didn't have enough battery to do another lap. So to be fair, that's exactly what I expected it to be like. I actually thought I'd be closer in best lap time. So my best lap time on the 250F was a 1:52.9, and I believe best lap time was like a 2 minute dead, wasn't it, Barry?
It was, yes.
2 minute dead on the Stark. So I thought they'd be a bit closer in lap time. But yeah, it's strange. I mean, the Stark is an amazing bike, and let's not, you know, this track is like, it's a proper track, it's a proper GP track. It's hard going, it's really physical, it's hard on the bikes. It's, you know, it's hard on a 250F around here, so it does sap the power. It's quite sandy. I thought the gap in lap times would be a lot closer. I just feel like the Stark's just missing so much low end power. It's very hard to get, you know, I feel like I need a clutch to pick the power up, to pick the revs up coming out of the turn, because as soon as you get to mid to top end, it just flies. And it's quite a hard transition, you know, it's hard to read. It's like dead, and then it just goes. So it feels a little bit unnerving, to be honest. But I mean, it's good fun for a few laps, but to be honest, it's quite dead after a while. It's quite, you know, it's quite boring, because you can't, you know, at 40 horsepower, I feel like I just had a cap on what I could do. I think on a smaller track, you know, perhaps a little bit more of a normal track like Chippenham, not so, you know, not so power sapping, it'd be a lot more fun, and I think the bike would actually last a lot longer. So, you know, and let's not beat around the bush. Like I'm quick around this track, and so I think I think for the average rider, it is still a good option. But for me personally, I actually found it quite boring compared to a normal bike. And I think, as well as that, I'd love to have. I think the next time I'll do it, I'll wear a heart rate monitor, because I actually felt like my actual my physical state, if you like, while I was riding was lower, because there was a lot less to do, but it was a lot less intense because I wasn't clutching, I wasn't changing gear, and I was going slower. But I couldn't do any more. Normally on a small bike, if I was on a 125, you can do more to get the power, but I felt like I was just capped on that bike. So yeah, it's really interesting, and obviously, like anything, these bikes are going to evolve quick, and it's exciting. I mean, look, it's 4 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, and no one's heard me ride for the last hour. So it's exciting things to come, but I just think it's I'm not sure. I mean, I'm an old dinosaur. I'm 33, so you can say what you want, but the whole experience is so different. And just a side note, how different the track cuts up. Where coming out of the turns and there's not a lot of power, it doesn't really dig any holes, it just kind of goes. And then as the mid-range and top end comes in, it just digs holes. Like there's bits of track where it's just dug ruts out of nowhere. And when you land off the jumps, I mean, the roost goes so far, and that's what I mean. It's like when the wheel comes off the ground, it generates so much power and then it goes, but you almost need that halfway out of a turn to get going. But I guess that's where you normally flick the clutch on a normal bike. So yeah, hopefully it's been an interesting video. It's been really interesting doing it. I was not gonna lie, I was well scared going into that straight onto the electric bike and straight out there, because the sun was low, the jumps are big, they're all rutty and whatever else. But yeah, hopefully I didn't look like too much of a prat either. But yeah, hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching.